Commander Eric Kellen stepped onto the observation deck of the Interstellar Research Station, his eyes scanning the vast blackness of space. The stars shimmered like diamonds, but his attention was not on them. Across the room, he noticed her. The alien woman. She moved with a grace that seemed almost unreal. Her skin shimmered faintly in soft shades of blue and silver, reflecting the station's lights. Her eyes, large, luminous, and deep, seemed to hold galaxies within them. Eric had seen many alien species in his career, but this one was different. She wasn't aggressive or fearful. She didn't even seem aware of the usual human tendency to gawk at something unfamiliar. And yet, Eric's gaze lingered. He realized he was curious about her. Her gestures, the way she tilted her head, the way her eyes reflected the starlight. He felt a strange pull, a combination of awe and fascination. Suddenly, she turned toward him. Not quickly, but with a deliberate calmness, as if she had sensed his attention all along. Eric froze. Her eyes met his, and for a moment, the room seemed to vanish. She wasn't angry. She wasn't mocking. She looked thoughtful, almost amused. "You are staring," she said in perfect English. Her voice was melodic, with subtle echoes that seemed to linger in the air. Eric's face flushed. I was just looking. Sorry," he stammered. She tilted her head, as if trying to understand him. "Curiosity is natural," she said slowly. "But you must learn when it is appropriate." Eric blinked. Her words were gentle, but there was an authority behind them. It was not a tone of reprimand, but of guidance. He nodded quickly. "Yes, I understand." The alien woman smiled faintly. Eric noticed the corners of her mouth lifted in a way that was both strange and comforting. "Curiosity is how humans learn," she said. "It is also how you sometimes get into trouble." Eric realized she was right. Curiosity had brought him to this station, thousands of light years from Earth, but it had also made him reckless in moments he hadn't yet understood. He felt a mix of embarrassment and respect for her. She was not just an alien. She was intelligent, aware, and patient. Their conversation was interrupted by a sudden alarm. Red lights flashed across the deck, and the hum of the station's engines grew louder. "Intruder, alert," a robotic voice announced. The alien woman's eyes narrowed slightly, and she stepped closer to Eric. "This is not safe," she said. "Follow me." He didn't hesitate. Together, they moved toward a side corridor that led to a reinforced observation chamber. The station's alarms were blaring now, and Eric's heart pounded. He had trained for emergencies, but nothing in his experience had prepared him for this, an alien presence, so close, moving with him as an ally. As they entered the chamber, Eric noticed the view of the nearby planet below. It was a gas giant, with swirling purple and green clouds, a beautiful yet dangerous world. The intruder, whatever it was, had targeted this station with precision. "Who are you?" Eric asked, as he activated the chamber's defense controls. The alien woman's gaze was fixed on the holographic display showing the intruder's approach. "I am called Lyria," she said. "I come from a world far from this system. I monitor your kind when necessary." "Monitor?" Eric repeated. He didn't understand. "Why me? Why now?" Her eyes softened, and she placed a delicate hand on the console. "Because you are different. You notice. You question. That is rare among humans here." Eric felt a strange pride. He had always thought of himself as ordinary, just another human soldier in the interstellar fleet. Yet here was an alien, centuries ahead of him in knowledge and understanding, who saw something unique in him. The intruder ship appeared on the holographic display. It was unlike anything Eric had seen, a sleek craft that seemed to bend light around itself, almost invisible until it came close. Its movements were deliberate, intelligent, almost curious, like it was studying the station as much as attacking it. Lyria stepped forward, her hand hovering over a set of controls Eric didn't recognize. The interface responded to her touch with lights and symbols that made no sense to him. Yet she moved with confidence, issuing commands in a language he could not understand. The station's defenses powered up almost immediately, energy shields glowing around the hull. Eric felt a rush of admiration and fear. "How do you do that?" he asked. "It is not magic," Lyria said, without looking at him. "It is understanding. You learn, you adapt, then you act." The intruder ship fired a beam at the station, and Eric dove behind the console just as sparks flew across the floor. Lyria's eyes glowed briefly, and the beam dissolved harmlessly against the energy shield. Eric had never seen technology like this, and yet he instinctively felt that Lyria's presence made the impossible possible. When the alarms finally quieted, Eric looked at her. "You saved the station," he said, still in awe. She shook her head gently. "I did what was necessary, but now you must be careful. They are not done. This intruder is intelligent. It learns as we do." Eric nodded, trying to absorb her words. He realized that Lyria was not just an ally. She was a teacher, a guide in a universe he barely understood. And somehow, in this moment of crisis, he felt a connection to her, something beyond words. As the station's lights stabilized and the emergency protocols ran their final checks, Eric found himself staring at her again. Not inappropriately, but with curiosity and respect. He wanted to understand her, to learn from her, to see the universe through her eyes. Lyria noticed his gaze once more. This time, she did not comment. Instead, she simply stepped closer, her presence calm and reassuring. "Tomorrow," she said softly, "you will see more than you can imagine. But tonight, rest. You will need strength." Eric nodded, feeling a strange warmth in his chest. He had faced countless dangers before, yet nothing had prepared him for the wonder and complexity of this being standing beside him. He realized that his life had changed forever, and that curiosity, his most human trait, had led him to something extraordinary. As he left the chamber to rest, Eric glanced back at Lyria. She stood there, looking out at the stars, her form luminous in the soft light of the station. He could not explain why, but he felt that the universe had become larger, deeper, and more mysterious, in ways he had never imagined. And for the first time in a long while, he welcomed the unknown. The next morning, the station was quiet, but tense. The emergency alarms had stopped, but the hum of the engines and the occasional flicker of red warning lights reminded everyone that danger had not passed. Commander Eric Kellen woke in his small quarters, still thinking about Lyria, the alien woman who had saved the station. He dressed quickly, his mind racing. He had faced countless challenges in his military career, but nothing had prepared him for Lyria's presence. She was not just powerful, she seemed to understand the universe in ways humans could not. And yet, she had noticed him not for his strength, but for his curiosity. That simple acknowledgement had left a deep impression on him. Eric made his way to the observation chamber. Lyria was already there, her luminous form reflected in the glass as she looked at the stars beyond the station. The soft hum of the energy shields filled the room, but she seemed unaware of it. "Good morning, Commander," she said without turning. Her voice was calm and melodic, yet it carried an authority that made him straighten immediately. "Good morning," Eric replied. Are we safe now?" Lyria shook her head slowly. "Not entirely. The intruder will return. It is learning. It observed us yesterday. Today, it may be smarter, faster, or more cunning." Eric nodded, gripping the railing in front of him. He knew she was right. The enemy had been precise, almost calculating. But he also realized that their success yesterday had not been solely due to Lyria. The station's crew, including him, had acted quickly, following basic protocols. Yet her presence had been decisive, and he felt a mix of admiration and determination. "Will it attack this station again?" he asked. "Possibly," Lyria said. "Or it may target another location first. It tests, it observes, it adapts. That is how it survives. That is how it learns." Eric studied the stars beyond the observation window, his mind spinning with questions. "Then, we need a plan," he said. "We need to predict what it will do next." Lyria turned to face him. "You are thinking like a human," she said. "You rely on logic and patterns. That is valuable. I rely on understanding and anticipation. Together, we may succeed." Eric felt a surge of pride. He had often wondered if humans were capable of making a difference in the vastness of space. And here was proof. His mind, limited as it was, could complement Lyria's alien intelligence. "Show me," he said. "Teach me how to anticipate it." Lyria studied him for a long moment. Then, she nodded. "Very well. But you must be open to seeing beyond what is immediately visible. Humans often focus on what they can measure. But space? Space is more than numbers." They began moving through the station to the tactical center. A room filled with holographic displays and glowing control panels. Lyria's fingers traced strange patterns in the air. And the displays responded, revealing the station's sensors in ways Arik had never seen. Symbols and colors shifted, forming patterns he could barely understand, yet some part of him instinctively recognized their meaning. "The intruder does not act randomly," Lyria explained. "It observes reactions. It learns our weaknesses. We must not act as it expects." Eric nodded, trying to absorb her words. He realized that yesterday, the intruder had almost succeeded because humans often reacted predictably. But now, with Lyria's guidance, they could introduce unpredictability strategic actions that no machine, no alien, no observer could fully anticipate. Suddenly, a new alert flashed on the main display. "Incoming vessel detected," the robotic voice announced. Eric's heart skipped a beat. Lyria's eyes glowed softly. "It has returned," she said. "And it is faster than before." "Ah." Eric moved to the controls, ready to act. But Lyria stopped him. "Observe first," she said. "Do not act immediately. Learn its pattern." The vessel appeared on the holographic display, a dark shape against the starfield. Its movements were precise, almost elegant, yet undeniably threatening. Eric noticed something new. It was not attacking directly. Instead, it was circling the station, testing the shields, observing the crew's response. "See," Lyria said. "It learns from hesitation, from fear, from uncertainty. Humans often reveal too much, with simple reactions. Eric swallowed hard, trying to keep his fear under control. He had faced alien threats before, but this one was different. It was intelligent, patient, and adaptive. And now, he realized, his own curiosity, the very trait Lyria had noticed, would be their greatest asset. "Now?" he asked. "Now." Lyria confirmed. Eric took a deep breath and initiated a series of maneuvers he had never attempted before. He altered the station's shield patterns, redirected power to specific sectors, and used the ship's communication systems to create false signals. Lyria's guidance was precise, but he was acting on instinct, improvising in ways that no alien could predict. The intruder paused, its vessel hovering in space. For a moment, Arik thought they had failed, it seemed. to analyze every movement, every signal. Then, unexpectedly, it changed course, retreating slightly before advancing again. "You see?" Lyria said, her voice calm but with a hint of satisfaction. "It adapts to you, but it cannot predict human intuition. Your choices are unexpected." Eric felt a surge of exhilaration. For the first time, he realized that humans, though limited in technology and experience, could still make a difference in the universe. Our unpredictability, our curiosity, our ability to improvise, these were strengths even aliens could not fully anticipate. Over the next several hours, Eric and Lyria worked together, studying the intruder's movements, learning its patterns, and testing strategies. Every time the vessel attempted an attack, they countered with unexpected maneuvers. Slowly, the intruder's confidence seemed to waver. By evening, the crew gathered in the tactical center. They had witnessed the human commander and the alien working together, blending instinct, curiosity, and intelligence. Eric felt a quiet pride as he realized that his human traits, the very things that sometimes got him in trouble, were now helping protect not just the station, but countless lives across the system. "Commander," Lyria said softly, placing a hand on the console near him, "humans often underestimate themselves. They rely on what they see and what they know, but their strength lies in the unknown, in curiosity, in the courage to act when others hesitate." Eric looked at her, understanding dawning. You think I'm different?" She smiled faintly. "You are human. That is already extraordinary. But yes, your curiosity, your courage, it is rare. It matters." He felt a warmth in his chest. Not from pride alone, but from something deeper. Here was an alien being, centuries ahead in knowledge and technology, recognizing the value of a human mind. And in that recognition, he felt hope for himself, for his species, and for the future they could shape together. As the stars beyond the station began to shimmer in the fading light, Eric realized something profound. The intruder, though dangerous, had shown them the truth. Humans were not just observers in the universe. They could learn, adapt, and even influence the course of events in ways no one expected. And standing beside him, Lyria's calm, luminous presence reminded him that he was not alone. Together, human and alien, they were stronger than any threat. Together, they could face the unknown and perhaps even change it. For the first time, Eric felt the universe opening before him, vast, mysterious, and full of possibilities. And he knew, without doubt, that his journey with Lyria was only beginning.